Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Chamber Chat. Today, we're excited to have County Commissioner Sabrena Smedley, who is running for Hamilton County Mayor. Commissioner Smedley, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Ross, for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself to all the business community here in Chattanooga. I know many of them are probably familiar with you, but it's kind of easier to hear it out of your own mouth. So tell us about yourself and how your experiences kind of prepare you for a potential job as county mayor.
Absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity to answer that question. So what I like to say, because probably a lot of the people out there don't know much about me. So I like to say that my story is really a story of faith and hard work. And what I mean by that is, there was a point in my time when I was a single mom for almost 8 years. And I know there's a lot of single parents out there. They get what I'm talking about, whether it be single dads or moms. And really back, when the real estate market was down and stuff like that, that's when I was a single mom. And I really had to work hard and persevere. There would be times that a closing would fall through, and I had the sole responsibility of providing for my kids. And so I had my faith, and my faith is really what I tell folks that helped me persevere. It helped me not to give up, but to keep going. And I can say that hard work has really paid off for me, and I've been blessed because I did work hard. And so I like to say that I think that most citizens out there across Hamilton County can relate with someone that has really started everything from the ground up and worked hard and just persevered, stayed in there. And so I've been blessed because of that. And I am now married. My kids are grown. They're 28, 29, and 30 now. And now I'm a GG. So I have my first two little grandbabies. They're both about to be 2 years old. And then I'm happily married now to Mark Smedley. But in terms of what I really think that prepares me for this position, in going through this process, I've had some folks tell me, hey, it's really important to me that the next mayor has a business background. So I own my own real estate company. And I've had my own real estate company since 2005. I started with a franchise in 2010, went out on my own, Sebrena Realty Associates. I also own Pure Bar Fitness with 2 locations. So I have to make a payroll every 2 weeks. I know what it's like to have to make a payroll. I know what it's like to have to make a payroll during a pandemic. And so some folks have said, education is important to me. And so I have a master's degree in business administration. And then what I think is most critical, the experience I have in county government. So when I'm talking to individuals, I say, business background, government experience, education, why not have it all? And I'm the only candidate on the ballot that offers all of that. And why is that important? 8 years government experience, now serving in my second term as county commissioner for District 7 and the chairman of the commission, which, as you know, Justin, I was voted unanimously to be the chairman. But why is that important going into this election year? And here's what I share with folks. This is a huge election year. We will have a new county mayor, a new sheriff. We have a city mayor who's still fairly new. We have a new chief of police. We have a new school superintendent. We're going to have at least likely 6 new county commissioners, maybe 7. We're going to have 3 new school board members. I'm the only candidate runner for Hamilton County Mayor that can go in there day one and do the job and bring stability at a time I think we're really going to need it in Hamilton County government with that kind of turnover.
That's great. Thank you for the that thorough introduction. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, as you well know, economic development is one of the key relationships that the chamber has with the county.
Absolutely.
What are your ideas on how to continue to grow jobs that create opportunities for all Hamilton Countyans to secure a living wage in
Yes,
your mind?
very passionate about this question. This is when I'm talking about my platform, this is part of my platform. And before I get into your question, I do want to brag a few minutes because I did have the chamber pull some numbers that I think are important. I wanted to look at, so I'm going in my 8th year now. So during the time I've served on the county commission, we have located 39 new businesses to Hamilton County. We've expanded 71 businesses that were already here, creating over 11,000 jobs. I think that that is something to really brag about. And I'm so excited that I was a part of that. But in looking at the future, there's two key things. When I think about economic development, there's two key things that come to mind. One is, in order to remain competitive and for businesses to locate here, we have to invest in our infrastructure. We have to invest in our wastewater. There are areas across Hamilton County that now have moratoriums in place. We have a real opportunity here with this one-time money that we're getting through the COVID relief funding, the ARP funding. And the commission voted just 3 weeks ago, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, unanimously to invest over $20 million in our wastewater. And if we think about being competitive and growing in the future, that has to happen. Number two, I think about our workforce. What a challenge. And going through this process and meeting with key employers across Hamilton County, they all share with me the same challenge that they're facing, and that is attracting and retaining talent. The next mayor is going to have to have a focus on this, and I will. One thing that I look at, okay, what do we already have in place? We have co-ops, we have internships, we have apprenticeships, we have work-based learning and our future ready institutes, but I think those can be expanded. We have to connect more students with more employers. And I think we really have an opportunity to expand. But one thing I've said in meeting with all these key business leaders, as the next mayor, I would want to put together a dedicated task force made up of key business leaders across Hamilton County so that we can figure out together, how do we attract talent? How do we develop that talent and retain it? And how do we offer a robust talent pipeline to our employers? That's going to be critical. It's going to be critical for the next mayor. If we don't invest in our infrastructure and we don't really focus on this workforce development piece, then at some point it's going to have a negative impact on our economic prosperity, because if we can't provide the workforce, businesses will not come to Hamilton County. So it's critical.
So you sort of touched on this in your last answer, but hard infrastructure improvement is a key to every community in the country, and Hamilton County is no exception.
Exactly.
In what ways can Hamilton County move forward on things like roads, wastewater, energy capacity, and broadband access that are so essential to continued growth?
Absolutely a great question. Again, wastewater, we have to invest. We're dealing with 50 years of neglect right now. We are being told by WWTA, if we don't invest now, rates will double over the next 5 years. We have moratoriums across Hamilton County. I touched on that. There's still one on Signal Mountain and other areas across Hamilton County. We have to invest so that these other areas can grow, not only in terms of locating businesses here, but just to meet the housing demand that we have right now in Hamilton County. And like I said, we have a real opportunity with this one-time money of really investing it in wastewater. And I've been a part of that process as a commissioner. I realize how important it is to our success going into the future. And that's another reason why I think it's critical to elect me to be the next mayor, because I get it, I understand it, and I want to be part of the solution. In terms of broadband, we are doing that as well. We have taken some of this money as well and invested it in expanding broadband to other areas in our rural communities across Hamilton County. We did vote recently to expand broadband in the Ottawa, Georgetown area, and also I believe it was the Sale Creek area. So we are focused on that. We're doing that. We have to do that. As you know, if COVID taught us anything, more folks are working from home. And there are, parents that are homeschooling their kids and stuff like that. So we need to make sure we have broadband access for every resident against Hamilton County. I get that, and I will invest in that and continue to provide those additional opportunities. And the other question was on what broadband access, roads. Oh yes, roads. So one thing I have found as a commissioner is you really have to explain to the residents which roads are state routes, which roads are city roads, and which roads are county roads. Overall, we do a really good job in the county of maintaining our roads. We have jurisdiction over 800 miles of roads. But one thing I would really like to do as the next mayor, I don't think this has ever been done, is really do a true assessment of all of our county roads and figure out, okay, which roads need immediate attention. What are the priority problems, and then come up with a plan in addressing those priorities, the most critical all the way through, and just a real long-term plan in making sure that we are maintaining our roads. And I don't think that's ever been done, but that's something I commit to if I'm elected to being the next mayor. And as far as energy, we have a lot of opportunities and partnerships with like green spaces and folks like that. I'm very proud that we've really had a focus on energy when it comes to building our schools and stuff. We've used geothermal systems and things that are more efficient and actually last longer.
Great. You're well aware, obviously, that education is a key issue that comes before the mayor and the county commission, as well as the school board. How would you use your role as county mayor to ensure that all children from birth to career receive quality educational opportunities in Hamilton County?
Okay, I'm very passionate about this topic as well. Part of my platform, education is critical. It's 64% of our budget, our $835 million budget. And I do want to take a minute to brag here a moment too. When I first came on the commission, the Department of Ed's budget was $399 million. The last year their budget was $492 million, almost a $93 million increase. And we have also voted to invest over $278 million in capital projects, whether it be new schools or expansion. So I think that shows that we very much value investing in public education here in Hamilton County. But I will tell you, when I think about education, and Justin, when I did my announcement that I was running for Hamilton County mayor, I was very intentional about where I made that announcement. And I chose the Mary Garber site, which will be our next vocational trade school. And I did that for two reasons. Number one, I'm very proud that the commission unanimously voted to approve funding for that project. But I think even more important, that project is representative of what we can do when we partner together. The city and county government, Chattanooga State, AGC, I mean, it's just everyone partnering together. And as the next county mayor, I'm going to look for more opportunities like that. And I think it's so important when we talk about education to talk about those post-secondary opportunities. We know every child's not going to college. So I have sat down with the superintendent, and we've met a few times. One thing that we can do relatively quickly is there are a couple of schools that are grossly under capacity that could be repurposed into two other vocational trade schools. We could do some renovation, open those up fairly quickly. So I will very much support those types of opportunities for our students. But when we go to when we really think about education, and we really want to change the course we're on, we have to go back to the beginning. And I'm the only candidate talking about this, where we're really missing the mark. Early childhood development, only 30% of the kids that enter kindergarten are ready. They get pushed through the system. They're in third grade. Only 36% of our third graders read on grade level. That's not acceptable. We can do a better job. So what I'm doing already, I'm putting the moving parts in place. I've met with our city mayor, who ran on early childhood development. There are opportunities for the city mayor, the county mayor to partner with nonprofits such as United Way. Leslie Searcy and I spent Friday morning talking about early childhood development. United Way just finished their strategic plan. They have a focus on early childhood development. There's some real opportunities that we can move the dial here and get more of our children ready when they enter kindergarten. Then I believe we're going to see those third grade literacy rates go up. Now, what we can do, and what I can do as the next mayor, is budget time, right? I can, behind closed doors, when the superintendent and I are meeting, I can say, and I've already told him this, I want the funding focused on literacy. I want there to be some allocation focused on literacy. And he has shared with me that they are already, they've already wrote out curriculum that has a literacy focus. They're also doing additional training for teachers to teach them how to teach literacy. But I've also expressed to him, we know where our greatest challenges are. We know where the low test scores are. That's where we should incentivize our brightest and best teachers, those veteran teachers, you go into those greatest challenges. We should not be sending our new teachers where the greatest challenges are, because what happens? They get frustrated, they quit, and we find that the lifespan of a teacher now is 3 years or less. So if I'm the next county mayor, I will be working alongside the superintendent, making sure that literacy, third grade in particular, literacy is a key focus here in Hamilton County. If we take that 36% to 40% or even 42%, I believe we will transform this community. And talking about those post-secondary opportunities, if the child can't read, or if they can't read the handbook or the workbook, or the directions on how to put something together, it doesn't matter. So they've got to be able to read. And that's going to be a focus for me as the next county mayor.
Got one more question for you.
Sure.
What do you think can be done to advance supplier diversity and procurement to bolster economic inclusion in Hamilton County?
Okay, first of all, I think leadership matters. And I am a uniter, not a divider. When I'm asked about these types of topics, I say, when we get back to the golden rule of treating others as we want to be treated, or treating each other equal like God created us. He created us all equal. And when we start treating one another like that, a lot of these problems will fix themselves. And that is the type of leadership that I will lead with, is really just being a uniter, not a divider. Now, I will say this. I would say that most consumers out there, when they're buying a product, they're not really putting a lot of thought into it. Okay, is this a man or a woman? You know, is this a black or a white or Asian, Hispanic? They're not thinking about that. If they want the product, they're buying it. And I think that sometimes if we just work together, treat each other like we want to be treated, and as we are equal, the way God created us, I think that we're going to be a strong community. And that's the way I'll lead.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you have the final word. So is there anything else you want to tell the business community here in Chattanooga before we wrap this conversation up?
Well, I just remind you again what a critical election this is, and that I'm the only candidate that has the business experience, the education, and more importantly, the government experience to go in there at a time we're going to have so much turnover and do the job. I won't need a year on the job training or 2 years on the job training. And I know how valuable the people are that we already have in place. I know the great things going on right now in Hamilton County, and I know the things that need to be carried through. I also know where we can do things better, and that's where my focus will be. I'm passionate about this opportunity. I'm committed, and as my sign says, I'm ready for the job and I'm running for the right reasons. And I would ask for everyone's support in the Republican primary election. Early voting starts April the 13th through the 28th. And of course, election day is May the 3rd. And I'd be honored to have all of your support.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And go Chamber. Go Chamber, right? I got to put that in there too. Go Chamber.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I know we have a great partnership with the county, and we certainly appreciate your service to the Hamilton County Commission and your willingness to take this leap to potentially lead the county. So thank you. I hope you have a great day, and thanks everybody for watching.
You too, Justin. Thank you, and Ross too.